Of them is that I know in the arts, beauty has been really not a good word. And I think it's changing in the culture. And I'm curious why and how it's changing. And I think that if we were more aware of it, it would have more of a chance to be put to work. Because I think it's a tool to change things, and we don't use it enough.
Was that in the 20th century, one of the first ruptures with the idea of beauty is in the Dada movement, which comes in the early part of the 20th century, and it's a response to kind of the atrocities of war, after the First World War, and how you could have these societies which on one hand placed an enormous value on certain kind of aesthetic production and artistic creations that people might go to salons and galleries and museums to experience, but yet could send thousands and thousands of young men to their deaths in the muddy fields. And so that it was seen by artists in these movements that it was almost sort of immoral to create so-called beautiful art, and that it was necessary to create different kinds of art that would challenge people to really question what is beautiful and what is moral and how we experience those things.
Ann and I had our house, half of our houses burned down. There's 8 of them and 4 of them burned. And a great deal of art burned up. Really a lot. And I tried to come to kind of idea of what was it about, because a lot of it either nobody had seen except me, or one of the ladies that worked for me had worked on them. And I kind of think that life is worship, and that when you make something, it's really you're making a prayer, and it maybe is relevant to somebody else. And just like a prayer, you don't have to tell somebody you've done it to make it important. So when I was in basic training and I was going to be shipped to Korea, I was really depressed. And I used to paint these pictures that were quite grotesque. And at some point I said, no, I don't like these. So I stopped. So I think, but I also find that I will paint something, not think it's beautiful, come back, 2 years later and find out that it is. So in a sense, what you make tells you more about who you are and what's real than what you think, which is kind of exciting.